In the beginning of 2024, I thought I was done with competitive games. Forever. I told myself that I was gonna swallow my pride, focus on my mental health, and finally give up on the endless grind. At the old age of 24, the boomer mechanics are finally kicking in, and I thought it was the perfect time to retire. And to go on record, I even said this in my last video.
There's a reason why I don't play CS, League, Apex, or Val anymore. At least I don't play them seriously. That means no more competitive and no more ranked. If you catch me playing any of those games, it's because I'm playing them not to get good, but instead to have fun with friends.
However, it turns out that I am a big, fat liar. Because...
Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in.
My name is Andre, and let's talk about Valorant.
Sure, triple?
That's so cool. You want to play? Let's play.
Nice, nice. Nice, ace!
I know exactly.
Oh!
Cross, go from the cross. Oh!
Are you serious?
What?
Oh my what?
This is torture.
Hey, good job.
They don't ask how, bro.
Never doubted you. I never doubted that. That was crazy.
Jesus Christ, dude. Oh.
Hey.
Before we get into what playing Valorant is like in 2024, let's take a trip down memory lane. Back in the summer of 2020, during peak COVID, where literally everyone was stuck at home isolating, Riot Games had the big brain idea of releasing their next major game when gaming was at an all-time high. And of course it makes sense that gaming was massive during the pandemic. According to an article by the Washington Post, during March of 2020, video game sales approached $1.6 billion, representing a 35% year-over-year increase. For gamers like us who never touched grass pre-pandemic anyway, not a lot probably changed. But what about for the normies? Well, in the same article, an analyst explains that people are at home, they have nothing to do, they are not commuting, they have more time, and they are bored. So in the end, what did many of them turn to? Video games. In my opinion, Valorant absolutely defined the landscape of gaming during the pandemic. And it may be hard to see that at first when you think back to 2020, especially with games like the new Animal Crossing and, of course, Among Us becoming a viral internet sensation. But what separates Valorant from the rest of the big games released during quarantine is that Valorant is a competitive game with its own diehard community that still managed to have a widespread casual appeal. When the Valorant beta went live on Twitch for the first time in April of 2020, over 1.2 million viewers were watching it on Twitch, a historic figure that had swelled over to 1.7 million viewers that day. First and foremost, Valorant is basically Riot's answer to Counter-Strike, a 5v5 first-person tac shooter that borrows many of CS's gameplay mechanics. The game also features playable agents, each with their own abilities, quirks, and personalities.
When you're still alive.
Esports reported that as of October of 2023 last year, Valorant fielded 28 million monthly players, stating that 70% of Valorant players are Gen Z, aka Zoomers. Valorant did what League of Legends could not do for Riot. It appealed to a younger and more casual audience. Personally, Valorant will always be special to me because it was the game that really helped me get through the pandemic. 2020 was a depressing year for a variety of reasons, but Valorant did something for me that other games simply could not do. It helped me stay connected with my friends.
There's a lot of people there.
People me, Andre. I hate you. Move!
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Truly, Valorant gave us a shared platform for escapism where we could just chat, hang out, and generally have a good time. Despite how the world was in such a terrible shape, that was Valorant's golden age, before it unfortunately turned into an e-couple dating app filled with coomers and gooners. I probably played Valorant the most during the pandemic, which makes sense given all the reasons I just explained, But that would eventually come to an end when, for better or worse, the world started to open up again. Since then, I would play the game on and off, and for shorter periods of time. But this year...
We back once a motherfucking game.
What the hell?
What?
Okay.
Before we continue, if you're enjoying the video, please feel free to leave a like. It'll let me know that y'all want to see more videos like this in the future. Anyway, to give context, the last time I really grinded Valorant was at the end of episode 6 to the start of episode 7, which is almost a year ago at this point. At the time, Lotus was the latest map, Gecko was the newest agent, and EG just hoisted the trophy for VCT Champions 2023. I stopped playing right after the end of VCT when episode 7 Act 2 began. That was when they introduced Sunset, a very polarizing map even to this day. But even worse, they decided to take out Fracture and Pearl, two of my own personal favorite maps. And what did they replace them with? Breeze, arguably the most hated map in all of Valorant. At this point, I was already burnt out from grinding, but the change in the map pool was the straw that broke the camel's back. I hated Breeze like everyone else did, and I refused to play the game with that map in the rotation. For a moment, I thought I broke free from the addiction. I started playing actual games like Baldur's Gate 3, Resident Evil 4 Remake. I even started making YouTube videos. It was great. But then, a year later, the addiction came right back. That's crazy. That's crazy that works. That's crazy that works, by the way. That's crazy that works.
Nah.
Alright, I've been yapping for way too long. Let's go ahead and finally answer the question, what is it like playing Valorant in 2024? Now, the short and boring answer to that is it's pretty much the same as I remember the last time I played it, and that's both a good and a bad thing. For one, it's good because it makes it easier for me, who stopped playing for a long time, to jump back into the game whenever I want, with most of the gameplay mechanics, maps, and agents remaining largely unchanged. However, it's also a bad thing when there's not much change because it shows a lack of initiative from Riot in terms of improving their product. But let's be real though, League has been out for over a decade, and that game still runs on spaghetti code, so I don't even know what I was expecting. To Riot, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. In the last 4 years since Valorant's release, despite popular demand, there is still no replay system, no ability to pick the maps you want to play, even in more casual game modes like Unrated, no attacker/defender-sided skin loadouts, and finally, no in-game timeouts despite it being a thing in VCT for literally forever now. I could go on and on and on, but clearly Riot's priority is elsewhere, considering the ungodly amount of skins they release every single year, each of which you could either buy on its own in your daily shop, or you have to get them as part of a bundle or battle pass. Though, I guess I'm part of the problem, considering I bought a lot of knives that, in the grand scheme of things, may be considered a big waste of money. Gameplay-wise, Valorant felt pretty good to play overall. That is, if you're okay with the inferior movement mechanics and the giga random bullet spread, that still feels like bullshit a lot of the time.
It has precise gunplay.
Oh my god.
Precise gunplay.
But I mean, we've been knowing that since 2020, so that's kind of a moot point these days. But hey, they introduced a new gun at the beginning of the year called the Outlaw. It's a pretty fun anti-eco, anti-half-shield buy, so that's cool I guess. I'm always a proponent for more gun diversity.
In-game.
The meta was also pretty solid this year. Well, that is until patch 8.11, and we'll get into those changes later. Now, I will preface that I am hard stuck gold, and I am not a very good player at all, so you should take everything I say with a grain of salt. But, in my opinion, as someone who regularly plays in a mix of gold and plat ELO, it definitely feels like there's a good diversity of agent picks from game to game. Sure, certain agents like Jett, Raze, and Reyna will always be prominent in the meta, considering how historically dominant they've been in the game, but for the most part, I see most agents being played here and there, especially on the niche maps that each agent is good on. That is, aside from Astra and Harbor, who definitely need some buffs right now. considering their sub 1% pick rate, and they're heavily outshadowed by their controller counterparts. Clove, a duelist controller hybrid, is definitely guilty of being a little bit OP in the current meta, given that they have more autonomy and agency in their kit compared to the rest of the controllers. Personally, I've always been an Omen main since the beginning. He's my most played agent of all time, and I really like his playstyle.
Oh my god.
But god damn, I've been so ass this year with Omen. It's actually crazy how bad I am with him right now. Even in the games that I think I do okay in, I just can't get any W's. So I knew I had to change things up. In contrast, an agent that I have been playing well recently is, surprisingly, Chamber. Now obviously, compared to the other sentinels like Cypher or Killjoy, he's probably on the more useless side of things, especially since the only utility he provides are 2 guns and a shitty ass trip. He's not the giga-busted Yay era Chamber like we used to know. He is a shadow of his former self. But man, is he still so much fun to play. It's a lot of fun utilizing his TP in a variety of ways. Sure, it sucks compared to OP Chamber, but it's definitely still playable. Now, Chamber's best map is inarguably Breeze. His kit absolutely thrives in this environment, given the fact that most gunfights are long-ranged. His Headhunter and his Op is crazy strong and has really good value, especially in an elo like mine where most people not only suck at long-range gunfights, but they also have no idea how to play against an Op most of the time. Ironically, Breeze became my best map this year, even though its reintroduction to the map pool was what made me quit the game in the first place. I'm currently on an 8-0 streak in competitive, undefeated with my team running basically the same Harbor Viper comp every single game.
Damn, are we Breeze abusers?
Oh, and before I forget, I did want to address patch 8.11 real quick. First, they introduced a new map called Abyss, and the gimmick is you can fall off the map. That's pretty much it.
Oh, my level 1's OP. Alright guys, run in there.
Level 1 is OP.
Yeah, I'm just gonna heal. You guys got it. Let's go. Oh yeah, I got you, bro. Oh.
That's crazy.
One close left. There's more back too.
So far, my feelings on Abyss are pretty lukewarm, I guess. It's kind of boring to me, but I also straight up don't even know how to play the map yet. So I'm gonna go watch some pro games and see how the meta shapes up before I make any final verdict. And that's basically it. Nothing else of note happened this patch. Nope, nothing at all.
My turn.
And that's the end.
One enemy remains.
45. Oh.
Oh my
Yup.
All in all, Valorant in 2024 has been pretty fucking fun so far. And I think the reason I enjoyed playing Val much more this time around compared to before is that I almost exclusively play in a 5-stack now, regardless if I'm queuing up for unrated or competitive. I mean, the only reason I even started playing Valorant again this year was because of my friends, and there are a lot of benefits playing in a full team besides, obviously, playing games with the boys. For one, playing in a 5-stack eliminates the variability of getting unhinged randoms on your team.
Oh my god.
My god. Last player.
I also think that the biggest benefit of playing in a pre-made team from a competitive standpoint is that a low elo player like me can come up with map-specific executes, create defensive setups, and play towards the strengths of my team because these are the same players that I get to play with game after game. The more I played with the same team, the more I got to know their tendencies, and I learned how to play around them to the best of my abilities. Another cool thing about Valorant is that when you queue up as a full team, the game will also try and match you with another 5-stack. And in my humble opinion, this is how Valorant is meant to be played. This is a team-based game after all, and the stakes always feel so much higher when you're actually trying to prove which is the better team. You'll go against a team that is more likely to coordinate utility, do a time push together, or even set up crossfires and trap plays that your team will have to learn and overcome in order to win. And again, I'm saying this from a low elo perspective. TLDR, I prefer 5 stacking a lot more. If I'm being completely honest, I made this video because I just wanted to rant about what I've been up to for the last couple of months, and hopefully gives some explanation to the 1, maybe 2 people that were wondering why I haven't uploaded anything in so long. Like I said, the Valorant disease strikes again. But also, I've just been really busy with work that Valorant was just a really nice way for me to unwind and de-stress from everything going on in my life. I've been so busy and haven't even had the time to meet up with friends in person that Valorant, to me, kinda serves the same purpose now as it did before during the pandemic. Again, it's helping me stay connected with my friends. And as I'm finishing up the script to this video, I realized that I probably was a bit too personal at times, but you know what? That's okay. If you made it this far just listening to me vent, I appreciate you for real. Ultimately, as fun as it is playing Valorant itself, sometimes I find that I have more fun just talking about the game with my friends. Whether we're watching PRX choke against G2 Thieves at Masters Shanghai, or we're taking turns flaming each other for being bad at the game, at the end of the day, it's about the friendships you made along the way. And as long as my friends keep playing these sorts of games, I'll always be down to hop on for a game or two. Thank you for watching.
Dude, like killing them is so worth, bro.